Alright, so Shalom Akim, this is the part 2. Call Halan Imla Yaha Bashim Yashar Bashar Hakodash and double honest regret Muslim apostles. Come on. I think I ended off at verse 9. Yeah, I did. But yeah, I'll read it again. So it says, and if he have betrothed her unto his son, so obviously if the son and the daughter, if the son and the maidservant married, then it says, he, which is the master, shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. So which means, if the son marries the maidservant, the way the master of the maidservant, which has a son, I don't want to make this too confusing. So the master has a son, and that son married the maidservant. The way the master would treat the maidservant now that she's married to his son, the master would treat them nicely. Well, look after her as a daughter, basically. That's the way the master would treat the maidservant, as one. Now, this is verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. So obviously if the master has another wife after getting married with the maidservant, basically the duty of the master shouldn't change at all. It should just be the same, to look after the maidservant who got married first. Even if the master has another wife, the maidservant should still be treated the same way. That's pretty much what it is. Which is nicely. Let's see, verse 11. And if he do not these three things unto her, and if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. So basically this is where another form of judgment as well. Basically this is the action to take if the master doesn't do these three. Like basically there's 3 scenarios mentioned just now, which was mentioned in the part 1 and this video. So the first scenario with the maidservant was if she didn't please the master, if the maidservant didn't please the master, then she'll be sent to a strange nation. That's the judgment. Secondly, if she married the master's son, then obviously the master will treat the maidservant like a daughter, like one of his real daughters. Then the third one is if he take him another wife. It's pretty much the same thing. If the master has another wife, just treat her the same way. And obviously if these 3 scenarios don't happen, basically, then it says, then shall she go out free without money. So that's just the action to take. That's how to deal with her. If she's just simply a maidservant, none of those 3 scenarios happen, then yeah, she just serve probably the 6 years again, the 7th free. So that's basically what it is right there. It says, if he do not these 3 unto her, then shall she go out free without money. Simple. That's referring to a female maidservant. Well, a maidservant is a female, of course. So can't serve 6 years, the 7th year free, just like the man, but not all the ways are like the man, as I mentioned in verse 7 of Exodus chapter 21. And if a man sell his daughter, and if a man sell his daughter to a maidservant, she shall not go out as the men servants do. So obviously the same way the men servants go, it's not the same way that the female servants go as well. There's 2 different things, if you guys caught up to that, between the part 1 of the video and then this is the part 2. So let's move on. So now this is also another form of judgment as well that I'm about to read, how to deal with this type of situation. So it says in verse 12, he that smiteth a man so that he die shall be surely put to death. So that's a simple case right there. if he basically kill a man essentially because that's the result, the judgment is that person who killed the man will be killed. So death for death. That's basically it. Now let's go deeper. Exodus chapter 21 verse 13. And if a man lie not in wait, but Yahweh deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee a place whither he shall flee. Wait, let me actually read this. And if a man lie not in wait, he's not patient, but Yahweh deliver him into his hands, then I appoint thee a place whither he shall flee. Wait, let me pause this video quickly. Akim. I just had to read it again because I tried to understand what that specific verse meant. But if you obviously Akim, if you guys can interpret, it'd be helpful. So it says in verse 12, verse 13 actually said, and if a man lie not in wait, but Yahweh deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee a place whither he shall flee. I mean, from my own understanding, I'm still learning, as I said before. I don't know if I said that, but yeah, I'm still learning, nevertheless. Clearly, from my own understanding, obviously, Spirit leads, for Akim to correct me, I'll say that if Yahweh Shem Yahshai basically delivers the man who probably would have been smited, would have been killed, then Yahweh Shem Yahshai will also guide that man to be saved into a place where he can flee. That's pretty much what I understand from that verse. But Akim, if you want to correct, just send me a comment. Yeah, I'll read it. And then Thauda. Okay, verse 14, it says, but if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor, I'll read it again. Verse 14, but if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with guile, thou shalt take him from mine altar that he may die. So, obviously, presumptuously means boldly, like with confidence. It says, if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor, so if he comes with boldness, essentially to kill the neighbor, to slay him with guile, thou shalt not take him from mine altar. So I got distracted there, I got a notification from the news. But if a man come presumptuously, boldly upon his neighbor to slay him with guile, thou shalt take him from mine altar that he may die. So basically death for death, as I said before. If a man kill a man, they're gonna die as well. Boldly, obviously if they intentionally go to kill the man, then they're gonna die. Yeah, death for death, as I said. Verse 15. And he that smiteth his father or his mother, this is verse 15 by the way, of Exodus chapter 21. And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. Yeah, as I said, death for death. So obviously if a child kills the earthly father or earthly mother, then for sure that child's gonna die. It's a lot. Yeah, but yeah, as I said before, death for death. That's the judgment. The judgment is death if you cause death. Can't just take a life. Obviously, you're gonna have to be willing to give your own, and that's just a vain way to give your life. Anyways, a not so vain way, but the way we're supposed to give our lives is basically for the Akim serving Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and obviously whilst defending the truth of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's when we're actually worthy to take our lives away. That doesn't mean suicide, obviously. I'm just saying when Esau comes with his soldiers, if it's your judgment to receive death, then you're just gonna have to die for the truth, for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But in this context, obviously, when a man intentionally kills a man, or a child intentionally kills their father, mother, then yeah, that child will die, that man will die who caused death intentionally. Let's see. Verse 15, actually I just read that. Verse 16, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So obviously pertaining to thing. It's kind of similar. It reminded me of the story of Joseph back in Genesis, when his brothers basically took him and then sold him to the Egyptians to be a servant, pretty much. But yeah, in this case, it says here, and if he stealeth a man and selleth him, but obviously, it said if he that stealeth a man. So obviously, I keep saying so obviously. Salakia. When a man steals a man, takes a man away to be sold, to be a servant or a slave, as Esau's done as well. That's why he's going to get his time as well. That's his judgment. He said, he shall surely be put to death. It says, he that stealeth a man and selleth him, and if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So clearly Esau, remember, after 1,000 years, Esau's going to die as well, because he's pretty much done the same thing here. And this is within the Israelites, as I said before. This is for like when if an Israelite steals another Israelite man to sell that Israelite man to another, clearly when they're caught to be a slave or servant, when they're caught, death for the person who sold that Israelite servant, because obviously they're supposed to be brothers. Can't be doing that. And anyways, that's the judgment right there, man. That's the judgment right there. It says in verse 17, and he that curseth, well, as I said, in the kingdom, it's not going to be like this.